Howdy, America! Welcome to the wildest, wackiest ride through the land of oopsies, where folks yeet themselves out of the gene pool with moves so dumb they'd make a jack-in-the-box jealous. I'm your host, kicking off part one of embarrassingly dumb ways people died. Darwin Awards. Winners covering 25 states from Alabama to Washington. We've got rooftop spit-offs in Alabama, moose chasing flops in Alaska, volcano selfies in Hawaii, and a guy in Maine who thought his head was a firework launcher. These aren't just mistakes, they're Hall of Fame faceplants. From Portland's underwater whistler to Chicago's gas tank glow-up, we're diving into 25 tales of glorious goofs. Want part two with the rest of the states? Smash that like button. The more likes, the faster it drops. Hit subscribe to join the Darwin party. And drop a comment. Which state's got the nuttiest fail? Grab a root beer, buckle up, and let's roll into the first batch of epic Darwin disasters. Number 1. Alabama spit take. First stop, Alabama, 1999. Picture a soldier, let's call him Spittin' Sam, at a rowdy rooftop party, probably fueled by sweet tea and bad decisions. Sam decides it's time for a spitting contest from the 5th floor. Not content with just hawking a loogie, he takes a running start to launch his spit like an Olympic javelin. Big mistake! Sam's got enthusiasm, but no physics degree. He miscalculates, sprints off the edge, and plummets 50 feet to the pavement. The crowd, stunned. The spit, never measured. The lesson, gravity doesn't care about your party tricks. Sam's trajectory earned him a Darwin Award, proving that when it comes to rooftops, keep your feet planted and your mouth shut. Alabama, y'all set the bar high or low, depending on the fall. Number 2. Alaska Moose Chase. Next up, Alaska 2006. Meet Moose Hunting Mike, a guy who thought he could outsmart a 1,000-pound beast with a pickup and some rope. Mike's big plan? Tie himself to his truck and lasso a moose like it's a rodeo. Picture him in the Alaskan wilderness, rope around his waist, grinning like he's in a western. The moose, unimpressed, takes off like a furry freight train. Mike's truck lurches, flips, and rolls, with him still tethered like a human yo-yo. Spoiler, the moose wins. Mike's hunting trip ends in a crumpled heap, earning him a Darwin nod for proving that trucks don't make you Tarzan. Alaskans, stick to fishing, leave the moose to their morning commute. Number 3. Arizona gas tank. Glow. Now we're scorching through Arizona, 1994. Enter Gas Can Gary, a guy curious about his truck's fuel level in the middle of the desert. Instead of using a flashlight or, common sense, Gary grabs a lighter to peer into the tank. Surprise! Gasoline loves flames. The tank erupts in a fireball that lights up the night but snuffs out Gary's spark of life. Neighbors probably thought it was a meteor. The Darwin Award. Folks gave him a nod for turning a simple check into a one-man 4th of July. Arizona's lesson? If you're playing with gas, don't bring the glow. Keep your curiosity in check, or you're fueling a disaster. Number 4. Arkansas Bullet Buddies. Over to Arkansas, 2019, where two buddies, let's call them Trigger and Target, decide to test their bulletproof vest in the dumbest way possible. Picture a backyard, some beers, and a bright idea. Let's shoot each other. Trigger straps on his vest, takes aim, and fires at Target, who's grinning like it's a game show. Problem? Target forgot to wear his vest. One shot, one trip to the great beyond. Trigger's probably still explaining it to the cops. The Darwin Award went to Target for betting his life on a brain fart. Arkansas, y'all proved that friendship and firearms need a safety check. Keep the vests on, or your bromance is a bust. Number 5. California lawn chair. Larry. California, 1982, home of lawn chair Larry Walters, the guy who turned a backyard dream into a Darwin legend. Larry, bored with life, ties 45 weather balloons to a lawn chair, grabs a pellet gun to pop them later, and soars to 10,000 feet over Long Beach. Air traffic control freaks out as Larry drifts into LAX airspace, sipping a beer and waving. He pops a few balloons, lands in power lines, and miraculously survives, earning a rare Darwin honorable mention. Why? His stunt was so gloriously stupid it inspired copycats who weren't so lucky. California's lesson? If you want to fly, book a plane. Larry's high-flying folly reminds us, keep your dreams grounded or you're ballooning to oblivion. Number 6. Colorado firework. Rodeo. Colorado 2007, where a guy, let's call him Rocket Rick, decided the 4th of July needed more oomph. Picture a backyard BBQ in Denver, sparklers popping, and Rick eyeing a massive firework like it's a bucking bronco. His big plan? Straddle the rocket like a cowboy and ride it to glory. He lights the fuse, mounts his explosive steed, and whoosh, liftoff. For a glorious second, Rick's a human comet. Then gravity and physics team up, and his rodeo ends in a bone-crunching crash. The Darwin Award folks gave him a nod for turning a backyard bash into a one-man disaster flick. Colorado's takeaway? Fireworks are for watching, not riding. Save the rodeo for the ranch, Rick. Number 7. Connecticut escalator escapade. Next stop, Connecticut, 2001. Meet elevator Eddie, a thrill seeker who thought mall escalators were the new X Games. Picture a bustling Hartford shopping center, Eddie buzzing with energy, eyeing the escalator like it's a surfboard. His genius move? Grab the handrails, hoist himself up, and ride the moving stairs like a stuntman. Spoiler, escalators aren't skate parks. Eddie loses his grip, tumbles 20 feet, and lands with a thud that echoes through the food court. Shoppers gasp, security sighs, and the Darwin Awards cheer for his spectacular exit. Connecticut's lesson? Escalators are for sneakers, not stunts. Keep your feet on the steps, or you're riding to regret. Number 8. Delaware parachute plummet. Now we zip to Delaware, 2010, where Parachute Pete decided to channel his inner skydiver from a garage roof. Picture a quiet Wilmington suburb, Pete stitching together bed sheets for a homemade parachute. He's watched too many action flicks and thinks, how hard can it be? He climbs the garage, ties on his DIY chute, and leaps with a war cry. The sheets flap like a sad kite, and Pete drops like a sack of potatoes. The landing? Memorable, but not survivable. The Darwin Award went to Pete for proving that sewing skills don't equal aerodynamics. Delaware's advice? Leave parachutes to pros, or your flight's a one-way flop. Number 9. Florida Railing Rodeo. Down to Florida, 2004, where Brian, let's call him Slider Brian, turned a parking garage into his personal playground. Picture a Miami multi-story lot Brian, hyped up after a night out, eyeing the railings like they're a water slide. His plan? Skid down from the 5th floor for bragging rights. He hops on, zooms a few feet, then physics says, not today. Brian slips, cartwheels 50 feet, and meets the asphalt in a finale no one clapped for. The Darwin Award honored his high-speed exit from the gene pool. Florida's wisdom? Railings are for hands, not heinies. Stay grounded, or you're sliding into a Darwin disaster. Number 10. Georgia Gator Grapple. Georgia, 2013, where Gator Gus thought he could outmuscle a Swamp King. Picture a muggy Savannah marsh. Gus wading in, spotting a 10-foot alligator and thinking, I've seen this on TV. Armed with nothing but bravado, he dives at the gator, aiming to pin it like a pro wrestler. The alligator, not here for the show, snaps back, and Gus becomes lunch instead of legend. The Darwin Award went to Gus for betting his biceps against a prehistoric predator. George's takeaway? Gators aren't pets or punching bags. Stick to fishing, or your swamp strut's a one-way chomp. Number 11. Hawaii Volcano Selfie. Hawaii 2008. Meet Selfie Sam, a tourist who thought a volcano was the perfect Instagram backdrop. Picture a steamy day on the Big Island, Sam hiking up Kilauea. Phone in hand, dreaming of viral fame, he spots the bubbling crater and thinks, gotta get that lava selfie. Ignoring every warning sign, he leaps toward the edge for the perfect angle. Spoiler, lava doesn't pose for pics. Sam slips, plunges into the crater, and becomes a permanent part of the island's geology. The Darwin Award salutes his fiery commitment to clout. Want more tales of selfie fails? Hit that subscribe button to keep the madness flowing. Hawaii's lesson? Volcanoes are for postcards, not photo ops. Keep your lens cool or you're toast. Number 12. Idaho Dynamite Debacle. Next up, Idaho 2015. Say hello to Farmer Fred, a spud-loving guy with a bear problem. Picture a quiet ranch near Boise. Fred fed up with a bear raiding his crops. Instead of calling wildlife control, Fred grabs a stick of dynamite because nothing says shoo like an explosion, right? He lights the fuse, chucks it at the bear, but the bear's too fast, sprinting off like a furry Olympian. Fred, not so nimble, trips and eats the blast. The bear lives, Fred doesn't. The Darwin Award honors his explosive exit. Which wild idea is crazier than this? Drop it in the comments. Idaho's wisdom? Bears don't need bombs. Call a pro or your farm's a crater. Number 13. Illinois gas tank. Glow. Now we roll to Illinois, 2001. Meet Gaslight Gary, a Chicago guy curious about his car's fuel tank. Picture a chilly night in the Windy City, Gary parked in an alley, wondering if he's got enough gas for a burger run. Instead of checking the gauge, he grabs a lighter to see inside the tank. One flick and boom, the alley lights up like a Hollywood premiere. But Gary's not taking bows. The fireball earns him a Darwin Award for turning a simple question into a fiery finale. Love these tales of epic blunders? Subscribe to catch more. Illinois' tip? Gas and flames don't mix. Check your tank with a flashlight or you're sparking trouble. Number 14. Indiana safe-cracking sparks. Over to Indiana, 2009, where safecracker Steve thought he could outsmart a locked box. Picture a dusty garage in Indianapolis, Steve staring at an old safe, dreaming of hidden riches. His plan? Bust it open with a welding torch, because who needs a locksmith? He fires up the torch, sparks flying like a mini fireworks show. Problem, the safe's stuffed with old gunpowder. One spark hits, and kaboom! Steve's treasure hunt ends in a smoky disaster. The Darwin Award cheers his red-hot ambition. What's the dumbest lock you've tried to crack? Toss it in the comments! Indiana's lesson? Safes are for pros. Leave the torch for BBQs or you're blasting into oblivion. Number 15. Iowa electric fishing. Next stop, Iowa, 2012. Meet fisherman Frank, a guy who thought electricity was the key to a big catch. Picture a lazy day on the Des Moines River. Frank frustrated with empty nets. His bright idea? Hook his fishing rod to a high-voltage power line to zap the fish. He rigs the setup, casts his electrified line, and surprise! The current flows back to him, not the fish. Frank lights up brighter than a county fair, earning a Darwin Award for his shocking strategy. Iowa's advice? Fish with worms, not watts. Keep your rods unplugged or your angling's a high voltage washout. Number 16, Kansas car crush. Kansas, 2002. Meet Jacked Up Joe, a driver on I-35 with a clunking car and a can-do attitude. Picture a dusty highway stretch, Joe pulling over to fix a rattling undercarriage. Instead of calling a tow, he grabs a rusty jack, slides under his pickup, and starts tinkering. Here's the hitch. That jack's shakier than a scarecrow in a tornado. One wiggle, and bam, the truck drops, turning Joe into a human pancake. The Darwin Award salutes his roadside repair gone wrong. Want more tales of mechanical mayhem? Hit that subscribe button to keep the craziness rolling. Kansas's lesson? Jacks are for pros. Stay topside or you're flattened by physics. Number 17. Kentucky livestream crash. Next, Kentucky 2017. Say hi to Kalita Hicks, a speed demon with a smartphone obsession. Picture a winding bluegrass highway, Kalita tearing down the road, one hand on the wheel, the other live streaming her joyride. She's chatting with fans, grinning like she's in a Fast and Furious flick, when a tree decides it's co-star time. Kalita veers, meets timber, and her stream cuts to black. The Darwin Award honors her high-speed selfie exit. What's the wildest thing you've seen online? Drop it in the comments. Kentucky's takeaway? Phones and pedals don't mix. Keep your eyes on the road, or your vlog's a log. Number 18. Louisiana snake snap. Now we slither to Louisiana 2011. Meet Snakebite Sam, a bayou daredevil who thought his mouth was a reptile trap. Picture a sweaty Cajun night. Sam at a bar, a few beers deep, betting pals he can catch a rattlesnake with his teeth. The snake, not in on the wager, slithers up, and Sam dives in, jaws first. One chomp, and the rattler bites back, pumping venom faster than you can say, bad bet. Sam's bar tab and life close out together, earning a Darwin nod. Love these wild stunts? Subscribe for more. Louisiana's wisdom? Snakes aren't snacks. Leave them to the swamp, or you're hissing your last. Number 19. Maine Firework. Flop. Up to Maine 2012, where Firework Fred celebrated a new fireworks law with explosive flair. Picture a chilly coastal night, Fred toasting the legalization of backyard booms. His big idea? Launch a rocket from his head like a human mortar. He balances the firework, lights the fuse, and grins as the crowd cheers. Spoiler! Heads aren't launch pads. The blast sends Fred to the stars, permanently. The Darwin Award crowns him the first casualty of Maine's pyro party. What's the dumbest celebration you've seen? Toss it in the comments. Maine's tip? Fireworks go in tubes, not on noggins. Keep it skyward, or you're a one-shot wonder. Number 20. Maryland Parkour Plunge. Maryland, 2014. Meet Parkour Pete, a thrill-seeker chasing urban ninja vibes. Picture a Baltimore warehouse district, Pete hopping rooftops like he's in a video game, filming his moves for clout. He spots a shiny roof and leaps, not noticing it's made of glass. Crash! Pete plummets through, landing in a heap of regrets. The Darwin Award cheers his high-flying exit from the rooftop race. Maryland's lesson? Roofs aren't trampolines. Scout your jumps, or your parkour's a permanent pause. Number 21. Massachusetts donut disaster. Massachusetts, 2005. Meet Donut Dan, a Lexington guy with a sweet tooth and a medical condition. Picture a crisp fall day, Dan cruising through town, his blood sugar tanking from diabetes. He's in a shaky state, but spots a glazed donut on the passenger seat. Breakfast of champions. Instead of pulling over, Dan decides to multitask, steering with one hand and chomping with the other. Big mistake! In his sugary haze, he veers off and smacks a utility pole, turning his sedan into modern art. The Darwin Award salutes his pastry-pursuing exit. Love these tales of epic oopsies? Hit that subscribe button to keep the madness rolling. Massachusetts lesson: donuts and driving don't mix. Pull over or you're crashing with crumbs. Number 22. Michigan Electric Heist. Next, Michigan, 2003. Say hello to Copper Carl, a guy who thought stealing live electrical wires was a quick payday. Picture a dark night in Detroit, Carl sneaking into a substation, wire cutters in hand, dreaming of scrap metal cash. The cables hum with thousands of volts, but Carl's like, psh, I've seen worse. One snip, and zap, he lights up brighter than a Motown marquee. The current wins, and Carl's heist ends in a shocking finale. The Darwin Award cheers his high-voltage hustle. What's the dumbest get-rich scheme you've heard? Toss it in the comments. Michigan's takeaway? Wires bite back, leave them to the pros, or you're buzzing to oblivion. Number 23. Oregon Underwater Whistle. Now we splash into Oregon, 2007. Meet Whistling Will, a Portland dreamer who thought he could charm fish with a tune. Picture a misty lake in the Cascades, Will wading in, convinced he can summon trout by whistling underwater. He takes a deep breath, dives down, and puckers up. Physics 101, humans can't whistle submerged. Will tries anyway, inhales water, and sinks like a soggy lure. The Darwin Award honors his aquatic area gone wrong. Want more quirky fails? Subscribe to catch the next wave. Oregon's wisdom: fish don't care for your melodies. Stick to bait, or your song's a watery swan dive. Number 24. Pennsylvania Cobra Conundrum. Over to Pennsylvania, 1997, enter Wayne Roth from Pittston, a guy who thought he could out-tough a cobra. Picture a buddy's basement, Wayne eyeing his pal's pet snake in a glass tank. A few beers in, he declares, "I'm a man, I can handle it." He reaches in, grabs the cobra like it's a garden hose, and, surprise, the snake bites back, pumping venom faster than a Pittsburgh steel press. Wayne's macho moment ends in a fatal flop, earning a Darwin nod. What's the wildest pet you've met? Drop it in the comments. Pennsylvania's lesson: snakes aren't for show-offs. Leave them locked, or you're hissing your last. Number 25. Washington Gun Shop, Gaff. Last stop, Washington, 1990. Meet Robber Ron, a guy who picked the worst store for his big break. Picture a busy Seattle gun shop, packed with armed customers and a cop car parked outside. Ron, not the sharpest bullet, storms in with a cheap pistol, shouting, "Hands up!" The room turns into a firing squad audition, and Ron's debut ends in a hail of lead before he can say, "Bad plan." The Darwin Award crowns his catastrophic career choice. Washington's tip? Gun shops aren't ATMs. Pick a softer target, or your heist's a one-shot bust. And that's a wrap on part one of our epic Darwin Awards road trip, folks. From Alabama's rooftop spit flop to Washington's gun shop goof, these 25 tales of glorious faceplants prove America's got no shortage of wild ideas gone wrong. But hold up, we've got 25 more states to cover. Want part 2 with the rest of the Darwin disasters? Smash that like button. The more likes, the quicker it lands. Drop a comment. Which flop stole the show? Hawaii's lava dive or Maine's firework fiasco? Hit subscribe to keep the chaos coming. And let's keep this party as zany as a Cobra wrestling Pennsylvanian. Catch ya in part 2, America. Catch of epic Darwin disasters